During the presentation, if you have any questions, please send in the chat box. So after the presentation, I will check the chat box and answer other questions over there. And for me, myself, quick introduction is that my name is Siqi, and I'm from China. So I graduated from UC Berkeley about 3 years ago. And after my graduation, I joined Bentley as an intern. So I spent about 3 months intern in Synchro product. And after the 3 months is passed, I returned to Bentley system as a formal employee. So I have been working for over 2 years, so 2.5 years. And my responsibility is to give training to our clients. And my latest training is last week. So this is pretty much me myself. And today we will spend some time to talk about Synchro, Synchro Pro, and Synchro 4D solutions. And before I start, so far, any questions? Like, do you have installed Synchro Pro on your side? So it's like this desktop application. So sorry. It's like a green icon at your desktop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So if you haven't installed it, just let me know. I will help you with that. Okay, so let me. Okay, so for today's agenda, I will spend the first 10 minutes to quickly introduce the Synchro and Synchro 4D. And then we will look at some case studies of how our clients use Synchro 4D to improve their schedules and for their projects. So then I will introduce SynchroXR. It is our HoloLens app based on augmented reality. So we can load the 4D models we created in Synchro 4D applications and load the models in your HoloLens goggles. And I will play some videos so that you get a basic idea of what it looks like. And then we'll spend about 30 minutes for a workshop. So in this workshop, it's like a quick start. I will demo on my side about how to use Synchro, how to import 3D models, import schedules, and create a 4D simulation. But I would say it's too short. 30 minutes is far away from enough. So if you want to know more resources, training resources, including videos, PDFs, you can go to this webpage, synchroacademy.matrixlms.com. And you can just click on this link. So it is for free, and you can register your own account. And let me know if you are registered, or if you want to register, all of you can share your email address to me, and I will register all of you in bulk and assign all of you the courses of Synchro so that you can get started. And again, this training is totally free. And I will leave 10 minutes for QA sessions if you have any questions. So, okay, that's our agenda today. So before I start, I want to do a very quick survey, like how many of you have used Synchro before, like, or heard of Synchro before? You can directly put your answer to the chat box. Let me see if I can find the chat box in my side. So,
I have heard of Synchro.
Yeah. Okay, so I see the chat box. Most of you don't have experience using it, but I hear answer that you have one student at least who have heard of Synchro before. So if you have talked with like our Bentley guys, they will talk with you about Synchro solution, Synchro 4D solution. Actually, that is a combination of 4 products. And Synchro 4D Pro, Synchro Control, Synchro Field, and Synchro Modeler. So all of them combined together, we call it Synchro solution or Synchro 4D solution. Okay? And the Synchro 4D Pro is one of them, and it's a very important part of it. It's a desktop application that we can use it to create a 4D simulation, and that's the application that's what you installed. So you have this installed at your laptop. This is Synchro 4D Pro, which is part of the Synchro solution. Okay, And for other products, Synchro Control, for example, it is a web-based application so that multi-users can do project management, can share the documents, share the information with their teams. Okay. And Synchro Field is similar to Control. It's just that it's an application for iPad or iPhone. So the information in Field will talk with the information in Control. So Control and Field, they talk back and forth with each other. So next is Synchro Modeler. It's a application that can calculate the model quantity, model takeoff based on the 3D models that you import. And you can also calculate the total project budget, project price based on the model you have. So it's a Synchro Modeler. And our today's focus is Synchro 4D Pro. Okay. So for Synchro 4D Pro, we create a 4D simulation by combining the 3D models with the schedules, which means that we actually don't directly create 3D models in Synchro Pro. We import the 3D models from other designing softwares, including the BIM Lec products. So if you have used BIM Lec products, you may have heard of the MicroStation, Open Buildings, Open Road, and all of them can be imported to Synchro Pro. Okay. And you can import SketchUp models, you can import Revit models, Navisworks models. So almost all kinds of 3D models can be imported to Pro. And this is the 3D models part. And as for schedules part, you can import P6 schedule, Microsoft project, and you can import Excel sheet, as long as the Excel sheet is well formatted. Okay. So we import the models and we import the schedules, and after that, we can combine them together. And later in today's workshop session, I will do a quick demo about how to import models, how to import schedules, and how to link them together. So, okay. So here are some applications of how to use Synchro in real projects. Synchro can be used along the whole life cycle of the project. You can use it in the design phase where you don't have a detailed model or you don't have a detailed schedule. You can still use Synchro in the design phase because Synchro, you can match the different level of detail of your models to different level of detail of the schedules. So I will show you the case studies of how to use Synchro in the design phase. And you can also use Synchro in the analyzing phase. For example, I have two options of creating this schedule. I can build the concrete first, or I can choose to build the structure first. Steel structure first. So with these two options, I want to analyze which one is better. In this phase, Synchro can help to compare different schedules, and you can choose the one that you prefer. So next is the execution phase. So let's say, for example, I already choose a schedule that I want. I think it's good enough, and my project started. So, and for example, during the project is, let's say, about 50% finish of the project, I kind of find that my actual progress is a little bit ahead of the schedule, or is a little bit just back up, like it's a little bit later than the planned schedule. So in this case, I want to compare the actual progress and the baseline schedule that I have. In this case, we can still use Synchro to help us to compare the actual progress and the real progress. The actual progress and the planned baseline schedule. Okay. And here are some case studies to better explain the details of the application. So let's first look at the master planning. So in the master planning phase, and this video shows we don't have a detailed model. We only have a 2D drawings, like in this video. In this case, we can still use Synchro by creating some boxes and align the boxes to different areas. And we can see in different time at different date, different area is being built. Okay, so and the colors here, it represent different construction phase. For example, the purple is site clearance, and the orange is demolition, the green is construction, and the blue is renovation. Okay. And you can see the schedule in this phase is a very high level schedule. Maybe we just have 20 or 30 tasks, but it is already enough to be used in the master planning phase. Okay. And the second application is that we can use Synchro to track the resource consumption. For example, in this case, it's one layer of a building, and you can see it subdivided into different rooms or zones. And in different rooms, for example, in this room, sometimes the color is green and sometimes it's blue and sometimes red. So different color represent different type of human resources. And for example, now it is blue. It means the human resource that is represented by the color of blue is active. And you can also match the color with the curves on this window. Plant utilization for all human resources. So it will give you the consumption of different trade of human. For example, this curve, it represents the cumulative consumption of one type of human resource. And the histogram, it represents the consumption every month or every week or every day. Okay. And this is a typical use case where we place two windows side by side. So there are two 3D windows side by side, and the left side may represent the baseline schedule and right side is actual. So you can easily tell the difference of the actual progress and the baseline schedule you have by looking at these two 3D windows. I will just play this animation as an example. So at the left side, it's a baseline schedule. By the way, this is the Echo Water project that we did in Sacramento, California, about 2 years ago. And at the left side window, you can see the baseline schedule. Okay? And the right side is the current progress. And with this animation side by side, you can easily tell that the right side window is a little bit faster than the left side, which means the actual progress is ahead of schedule. And if you have more interest, you look at the window at the bottom. So the red curve is the planned value, and the blue curve is the actual cost. So based on the curve, we can see that the actual cost is under budget. So this project in total is like ahead of schedule and it is under budget. A fun story about this project is that when we first met with the client, they gave us the schedule for about one year. And then we link the models with their schedule, and the process we link the model is that we sit in together with their project managers, project engineer, field engineer, and other people, schedulers. So we sit with them together, and we assign the resources to the tasks in front of them. So for example, I am working on the concrete slab. So when I assign the concrete slab, I ask them, so how long do you think it should be? How long should this task last? And how do you want to pour the concrete? So I will check with them, and they will have a discussion in front of us. And they will give us, okay, after the discussion, they think that the duration is good enough, and we can assign the concrete to the task. So with this process, after the assignment, the schedule is extended to 3 years. That's because previously in the schedulers make the schedule, but they actually don't have details about the model. So when they make the schedule, the values is based on estimation, not accurate enough. But after we link the models with schedules, okay, now they see that this part should be changed and duration should be extended. So the total duration extended to 3 years, and then after we improve the schedule, it's improved to 18 months in total. I was just like using this example to show the value that Synchro can bring when you work on the schedules. Okay, so that's the use case of Synchro to compare the baseline and the planned schedule. Okay. So the next use case is that we can make the equipment move in the animation. So it is a good use case for marketing purpose. This is the Golden Warrior Stadium in California, and the owner requires us to create a very detailed simulation of not only the buildings, what you can see over here, but also the equipments. So we create a very detailed simulation of their movements, including the tower cranes, and you can see these equipments. So if you take a picture from the job site, basically what you can see from this animation is what you can see from the job site. And also for these colors over here, it's called appearance profiles. And we use these appearance profiles, different colors, to show the different construction process of this object. And we will also talk about these appearance profiles later in our workshop. Okay, so this is a picture that I want to make it larger because I want to focus on this picture. Okay, so this is the use case that we use Synchro to improve the look-ahead meeting process. The traditional look-ahead meeting, I'm not sure if you have heard about the look-ahead meeting concept. I believe so. This is the traditional look-ahead meeting. We have a whiteboard and we have stickers. Everyone sit together in front of the whiteboard and put the stickers for the task. And the task is focused on the next week or next 2 weeks. So this schedule, we call it look ahead schedule. It's actually a mini schedule that focuses on next week or next 2 weeks. And this is a traditional look ahead meeting or look ahead schedules. Synchro can help improve this process by projecting their 3D models. Okay, so for example, in this project, they project their models for next week or next 2 weeks in the screen, and everyone can understand, okay, this task actually corresponds to the models over here. Okay, and even though I am not a scheduling expert, my scheduling knowledge is limited, I can still understand what everyone is talking about because I can see exactly what it means in my models. Okay, so that's also a value that Synchro can bring. So that it can limit or eliminate the learning gap between the scheduling expert and other people that have limited knowledge about scheduling. Okay, so next is the Power BI integration with Synchro Pro. So Power BI is actually a Microsoft product, is for business intelligence, and you can generate some graphic analysis from the database. And we can connect the Power BI product to our SWP, which is supported by Microsoft Azure. And you can pull the data from the server and generate graphics, analyze the construction quantities. For example, now it is level 6 mechanical. And if I click on level 6 plumbing, it will just give me the quantity of plumbing for level 6. And you can see the graph, they will talk to each other. So it is like interactive graph. So this is a use case in London, UK, and this is a very congested job site. You can see it is very congested, and the buildings surrounding this project is under construction or they are existing buildings. So the owner wants a very detailed simulation because they don't want to interrupt with other projects. And you can see we create a very detailed simulation of not only the buildings, but also the equipment, including the tower cranes. Synchro can also be used to create some safety notifications. Like you can see, you can create some callouts, create some icons in Synchro Pro. And one use case is that you can play this animation in the job site. So everyone that enters the job site, they will see this animation played in the monitor, and they will know exactly what they will do, and they'll pay attention to the safety reminders. Okay, so for field mobility, that mostly refers to Synchro field and Synchro site, which is not our focus today. So I will just skip over here. Okay. So that is pretty much what I want to introduce about Synchro 4D and Synchro 4D use case study.
So Siqi, can I ask a quick question or maybe comments? So the last slide you showed some a request for proposal. So I remember this is from some owners in California. Can you explain a little bit more what that means to the industry and why this is important?
Yeah, so these are some contract that the owners requires the contractors to use Synchro in their contract. So they require the owners to use Synchro 4D, or they require to use 4D approach to help this project. The case study that I showed just now, the Echo Water project in Sacramento, that is that they use Synchro is because the owner required them to use Synchro as a scheduling tool. So in that project, they use P6 and Synchro in parallel because their schedulers are familiar with P6. So they use P6, but the owner required them to use Synchro. So they use Synchro to validate the schedule that they made in P6. And they submit both the Synchro project and P6 to their owner. And for me, I think we are glad to see this change because the owners are actually changing the industry from their side and in their own way, influence the contractors to use our product. So yeah.
Can I also add something? So the traditional way for a bid document includes, of course, the budget, right? So it's the cost as well as the schedule, and usually the schedule is just a bar chart, showing one dimension shows the major activities and the milestones, and the other dimension shows the like either weeks or either months, right? Showing like the Gantt chart. But some owners start to push the boundary and start to require the general contractors to submit like a 4D model using either the Primavera or Primavera. That's the traditional way of a submission. But now you see the contract showing they also require the general contractor to submit a Synchro file, which is the 4D simulation.
Right. So, for the Echo Water project, the owners, the scheduler, they start to use Synchro because they are required by the owners. But at the end of the project, they are glad to see that they have Synchro to help them to change the schedule or improve the schedule. And we are glad to see this change. They are required to use it at the start, but at the end, they like Synchro. So yeah, it's a very good experience of that use case. So that's pretty much what I want to introduce about Synchro 4D. And based on our agenda, I will continue to introduce SynchroXR. So before I continue, any questions so far?
Maybe I can start with a question here. So what is the biggest benefit? You mentioned that the traditional way for construction coordination or look ahead coordination is based on a piece of paper, like some posted on the wall, right?
Yeah.
What is the biggest advantage of using 4D simulation to do that?
So I think you refers to this case. Look ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Yeah. So it is this picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this picture shows most of the benefit that Synchro can bring, because for a look at schedule, we just know that what tasks will happen next week or next 2 weeks, but we don't know which area or which level this task is matched with. So the Synchro can give you a better understanding of what will happen in the next week or next 2 weeks. It will give you the part of the schedule, the part with part of the model. So you can exactly see, okay, so this level is to be constructed for next week, and let's validate the schedule based on what we see at the monitor. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so why is it so important to visualize that?
Yeah, because for look ahead meeting is not only the schedulers to join this meeting. Everyone can join this meeting. The field engineers, the BIM guys, the VDC guys, and the project managers. Not everyone is the scheduler or have scheduling experience. In this case, it's make hard to make sure everyone understand the task. In this case, a model help the people to understand the schedule, even though they have limited scheduling knowledge.
All right, thank you. Any more questions from the class, guys?
I have a question. How long does it take to create an entire project in Synchro?
Yeah, so it's a very good question. So how long to create this project? It depends on the level of detail that you decided. Let's suppose you are the project manager, and you can decide how detailed you want your 4D simulation to be. For example, if for a building, you can create a very rough schedule, like assign this area to one task, the whole area, everyone to task 1, area 2 to task 2. If that's the case, it will just take no more than 1 hour to create the simulation. Okay. And in another case, let's say you are the project manager and you want to create a very detailed simulation like this animation. So each task should have a very detailed 3D object linked with it. So it's a very detailed model, and you want to link the detailed model with a very detailed tasks. And you want to link it very precisely, which is like a very complex assignment. Then it will take a few days or a few months to finish this 4D simulation. So it's really up to you or the decision of the project manager to decide the level of detail of the assignment and how long it will take.
Great. So what do you need from Revit? You need the final design, and then with Synchro you program every task, or how does it work?
Yeah, so I will show you the basic workflow in the workshop later. But what we need from Revit is that we need the models from the Revit, and it could be a very detailed model, or it could be just a drafted model that is not finished. Because later, if they give us a more detailed one, we can use the synchronize from functionality in Synchro to directly update the models based on the update model they give us. So what we need from Revit is that we need the models from Revit, and we need the schedules from other scheduling softwares like P6, like Microsoft Project, like the Excel sheet. So after we have the schedules and models, we link them together, combine them together in Synchro Pro. That's the basic workflow.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. So if no questions, I will present very quickly about SynchroXR. So SynchroXR is a HoloLens app, and the device is like the picture over here. So this is the picture of HoloLens 2. Microsoft has released HoloLens 2 since last year. And if you want to know more details, you can just click on this link below to learn about this device. And it is very comfortable device with the improvement compared to HoloLens 1. So it has increased the precision when they detect your hands and the environment, and it adds to IR cameras for tracking your eyeballs. So you will not only track your hand gestures, but also you will track your eyeballs. I believe maybe some of you have already used this device because you can download some games like AR games and play with the games wiring this device. Okay. So after you put this device on, it will detect the physical world, and then it will detect your hand and track your eyeballs. Can you hear the voice?
No, I don't. No, I don't think so. You know, when you share the screen, let me show you. When you share the screen, if you go to advanced, and there's a checkbox called a computer sound, and you have to click that to share the sound from your computer. So yeah, you can just try. You can just click the share screen button again.
Okay.
And
so
then go to the central tab. Yeah, and just share screen, and then go to the central tab. There's advanced, a tab called advanced, and at the bottom there's a checkbox showing share my computer sound or something. It's at the bottom.
Okay. So it looks like. Again.
Yeah, just click share screen.
I think
advanced. Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
No, we are seeing you right now.
Okay, let me share again.
You just click share screen and go to the central button advanced and check the computer sound.
Okay, just give me a second. Can you see my?
Yeah, we can see the video, but we don't know if we can hear that.
Let me just play the video.
Yes. Yeah.
Look at this. Fully articulated.
Okay, perfect.
Look at this. Fully articulated hand tracking. And as I move my hands around, the HoloLens 2 is actually calibrating to my unique hand size. And of course, not only does the HoloLens 2 recognize me and my hands, it also recognizes the world. Welcome to my mixed reality home.
So this video is introduction of the HoloLens device. And you can see that this floor pattern, it is like repetitive pattern, and this also helps the device to detect the environment. Okay, so that's about the device. And next, I will introduce the app, which is SynchroXR. So this is the animation that we typically export from Synchro Pro, and you can see the building grow up, different colors for different construction process, and you can track the resource consumption, and you can create, you can generate an animation which is very realistic of high quality. So that's what we can do from Synchro Pro, from the desktop application. And SynchroXR is like a new platform. We can transform what we learn, transform our knowledge to a new platform. And for example, just take the next. Okay. So this is the demo of SynchroXR, and the video is recorded from the HoloLens device. So it is like a screen recording. So we are launching this app, and it is now detecting the environment. Okay. So if we choose online, we can download the models from our Synchro portal, which is a cloud environment supported by Microsoft Azure. And if I click gallery, I can play with some free models that is public to anyone. For example, I can click on the gas plant. And now it's downloading the model from the server. This model, actually, when I say the model, I mean the ISP file, which is the 4D simulation that is created from the desktop application, Synchro Pro. Okay. So this model now is loaded, and you can see this model is like a 3D model, but it has a timeline next to it. So when you hit this play button, you will start to play the 4D animation that you created. So you are viewing this, you're looking at this 4D model actually in augmented reality mode, which means you can not only see the models, but you can also see the environment. Okay, and next in the following videos, I will introduce these 4 functionalities: adjust, create sections, and real scale. Okay. So this is like downloading a project from our Synchro portal. It is our cloud environment. You can log into your account, and you can see all your project under your account is downloaded. Okay, and I can choose the one that I want to load in this device. And after I click on the project, I can choose a filter for this project, because the HoloLens it sometimes has a limitation to the project that can be loaded. So in this case, I can select a 3D filter that filter my project into a smaller size. For example, I just need to maybe load 1 level of it, or maybe one zone of the project. So I can just click on the filter that I desire, and you can see the model is loaded. And here you can play with it, like changing the location of the models. You can make it larger or make it smaller. And you can even rotate the model if you want. Okay. So, and if you hit this play button, it will play the animation of this project. For example, if I pause here, I can just review this model, and I see if something is wrong with it. So review the project, and I can find the issue of this project. Yeah, so that is pretty much this adjust mode, so which is the first mode of SynchroXR application. And the second mode is create. So in this mode, we can create forms or risks icon. So with the forms, for example, I can create issues, daily logs, RFIs, and observations. And now I create an issue, and I want to put it over here because I find this slab, or maybe not slab, this roof is floating in the air, which is not good enough. So I just create an issue to tell my colleagues, to tell the people in my team about this issue I found. So I create a subject, I create issue and give it a subject.
And you are using the eye tracker to tap, right?
Yes, so this cursor, it follows your head location, your eyeballs. And you can just use the fingers and thumb to click together as a tab. Actually, in HoloLens 2, they improved the gesture, so you don't need to like click. You can just tap on the buttons to select. And it also has the functionality to recognize your voice. So if you hit the microphone icon and start talking, it will just recognize your voice and change it to text, which is even better, I think. Okay, for example, I can assign it to my colleagues and hit OK. And this issue will be synced back to the server. And my colleagues will see this issue at the same time when I submit these transactions. You can see the submitting changes. So this is already submitted to the server. And people can download the change and reflect the issue in their own laptop. So now it's creating the observation issue, and I will skip this observation issue due to the time concern. And this is create a risk icon. So I can create fall risk, electrical risk, or create a comment. So the for hazard, you can create a subject or a description of it. And if you say something, it will just recognize your voice automatically. Okay. So let me go back, maybe here. Okay, and if you don't need these icons, you can click this trash bin icon to just delete all of the icons here. And the third mode is in sections mode, where you can create a section, X plane, Y plane, or Z plane to cut the buildings in the middle. So it's like a cutting plane, and it's transparent. For example, I can click this Y plane, and there's a plane in the middle of this building, and I can drag to change the location of this plane. So it is valuable when we want to review the model and what is what does this model look like when we cut this building. So we can see the internal arrangement inside of this building. Okay. And the last mode is the real scale mode, which is, I think, the most valuable functionalities of XR. In this mode, you can align these models with the real projects you have. And we have 3 ways of alignment. The first way is teleport. So you can create some viewpoints. And when you enter the teleport mode, you will be standing exactly from the viewpoint that you put. And you will look at the project in real scale from the viewpoint that you just created. And the second way of alignment is spatial alignment. So this is more precise. You create 2 origins, actually 2 balls, and the first ball is rotation origin, and the second ball is project origin. With these 2 balls, you're able to like align the project with the model. Okay, and the third mode is the QR alignment. This is the most precise way of aligning buildings to your models. And our clients will use this QR code alignment usually because they want to like have a difference. They want to make the difference very little, make it very precisely, and the difference is no more than several centimeters or several millimeters. So the first is the teleport mode. I can create a few viewpoint and put the viewpoint, for example, over here. And I can put my second viewpoints at a different place. So I can create as many viewpoints as one. And if I hit the teleport, I will be standing at the viewpoint that I just created. So the project will be loaded in real scale. And in real projects, you can align these models with your real projects, with the real building project. Okay, so I can still play the animations in this mode. It's just that everything is in real scale. So that is the teleport mode. So next is the spatial alignment is similar. So we skip the second mode and directly go to the third mode, QR alignment. So if you enter the QR alignment, it will look for a QR code. And you can scan the QR code, for example, in your real project, and post this QR code in a column or in somewhere else in this project. And then after you scan the QR code, it will align the building, align the model with the building you have. Okay. So that is the QR code. Maybe you have the questions why we want to load the project in real scale. The value is that when we align the models with the project, we can click to check the data of this, for example, this column, and we can check the status of this column. So it has user field status. For example, if I enter the status, the color will be changed to red. And in this case, actually red, it means fail, but I can assign different colors to these columns. And by the way, the different colors here is called resource status. So Synchro can use resource status to record the detailed status of this, for example, this column. So we can, if it is formed based on what we see at the job site, we can just mark it as formed. And if reinforced, we just mark it as reinforced or inspected, etc. So we can define the colors and define the status by ourselves. Okay. And I notice it is poor right now based on my observation, based on what we see at the job site. So I mark it as poor. And even I can attach a document like a picture to this object, and I can record my audio. So if I go to record audio, I can convert what I say from the voice to the text. Okay. And this updates of the colors from red to blue can be submitted to the server. So once we record updates of this resource status, it will be submitted to the server. and everyone in my team will get these updates on their laptop. Okay, so there are some use cases. I'm not sure if the time is enough. If we don't have enough time, I can leave the use cases to
Yeah, yeah, we would love to see some use case that you can have as much time as you want.
Okay. Oh, perfect. So, okay. So this is one of the use cases that we load this model in small scale. And this is the FCB football club, Barcelona Football Club, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. In this project, our colleague worked with the clients, and previously they use this animation, like they use screens, like monitors, to show the animations. But it's just that people may want to see what is happening from the front of the stadium and at the back of the stadium at the same time. So in this case, we just introduced this Synchro XR that several people can review the same model at the same time. So we don't need to have tons of monitors on projecting the animations we make. We don't need to make thousands of animations. Instead of doing that, we can just load this model in HoloLens and use SynchroXR to review this model together. This is so this project is an extension of the current piping systems. So they have some pipings, but they want to add some new pipings to the existing pipe system. So we load this model and align the new pipings with their current project. And you can see some columns. This column is an existing column, and it is well aligned with the current project. Okay, so in this case, we load the model in real scale instead of a small scale to do a visual clash detection based on the augmented reality model. And this is another project.
Look down towards the platform, yeah? Can you see the crane? If you look up, it won't be good.
Yeah, so this is a use case that we...
Exactly.
Okay, so this is a use case that we use SynchroXR in outdoor environment, and sometimes the lighting condition is very strong. If the sunlight is very strong, you may need to put some cloth to block the strong sunlight from coming to you. But you can see that you can see that even though in the outdoor environment, the color is still apparent, so the model is still very clear. Okay.
And the idea of this SynchroXR solution is to bring the 4D simulation to real scale, right?
Right. And it is loading the model in augmented reality mode, which is make it more innovative.
Yeah. So a quick comment. I guess the difference between this 4D simulation on computer screen And this kind of immersive 4D simulation is, the user will have more spatial awareness, spatial understanding, because you are standing in the middle of this simulated 4D simulation. So I look around, see, like in this case, it shows how the tower crane is moving. You probably will discover some potential conflicts which you couldn't discover earlier on the computer screen, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, so and this is what we are going forward. So now that HoloLens have some limitations when they load large projects. So if your project is very large, or if it contains some like context data, it may be very slow to load the project. So what we are working on is that our development team is trying to make use of the Microsoft like remote rendering, like something like that, to help us to load context data and combine the context data with the CAD models. So for example, we have the CAD models for these pipings, and these buildings, the people, the street and the cars, they are context data that is captured from some drones and generated from context capture, I think, some other products as OBJ file. So they are captured by like the drones will take photos and create some contextures of the existing buildings and streets. And this data, we can combine it with the CAD data that is created from AutoCAD or Revit or Navisworks, and we can link them together. So this is what we are working on for further development, but it is not in production yet. It's still under the development. Okay.
Is that able to give you information for every item that you see? Like, for example, if you like touch an elbow or something, it tells you like the diameter or something, or it's only visualize where it goes.
So for this under development, I am not sure, because for OBJ file, which is context data, I actually don't think there are some information linked with the geometry. So it looks like maybe just a geometry. But since it's under development, so I actually don't know if they make some improvement to models or no. But if for the production, for this product that is released, we can check out the data of the models. For example, okay. For example, I am click on the column and I can see some useful information like the base level, family and type, family parameter, and the 4D zone, which is a customized data linked with the geometry, and some ID for this object. So for the project, as long as it has some data linked with the geometry, we should be able to see that in XR. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think John was nodding his head. It just didn't have the camera on.
Okay.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Okay, so I see that there are some chats in the chat box that I just want to check in case I miss any questions. So I see a question from Rohit that Synchro follows OSHA safety protocols. So Synchro actually don't have these protocols built with the program, but it is very flexible. It's a very flexible software. So later in the workshop, you will be able to see that it's very functional and flexible, and you can add the restrictions based on yourself, because OSHA has many protocols. I don't know which one you're referring to, but you can create your own rules for safety issues. And if you are, I'm not sure if you are talking about this, if this device is good to be where it's good to be put on in the job site. So for HoloLens 1, it is a little bit hard to wear with like if you wear it at the job site, so a bit hard. But for HoloLens 2, they have improved the user experience, and it should be easy for people to wear the device together with some personal safety equipment. Okay, does that make sense? Or any questions? Okay. So if no questions, everyone please open up your Synchro Pro, and I will also open my Pro on my side. So I found this icon, this green icon, Synchro Pro, and I can double click on this icon to launch the program.